The desert did not forgive kindness easily, and in the year 1878, kindness could get a man killed faster than cruelty. Eli Mercer learned that truth on a day the sun burned white and the wind whispered. Of old blood, he was no hero. Just a lone trader moving between dying towns near the Arizona territory, carrying sacks of flour, dried beans, and a heart worn thin by loss. His wife had died 2 winters before. His ranch burned by raiders no one ever named out loud. Since then, Eli survived by keeping his head down and his conscience quieter than his footsteps. But the desert has a way of testing what remains of a man when everything else has been stripped away. He saw the child near dusk, half buried in sand beside a mesquite tree, her lips cracked, eyes glassy with thirst. An Apache girl, no more than 7. Every instinct screamed danger. Apache land meant Apache justice, and mercy was often mistaken for weakness. Eli stood frozen, knowing the rules of the frontier. Keep riding. Don't look back. But the girl did not beg. She simply watched him as though weighing his soul. Eli dismounted. He poured water into his hat, held it to her mouth, and waited. She drank slowly, fear trembling through her small hands. Then he broke bread, tearing a piece and offering it without a word. The girl ate like someone who had forgotten food could be gentle. When she finished, dust rose on the horizon. Riders. Eli turned, hand near his revolver, knowing it wouldn't matter. They came fast. 5 Apaches, silent as judgment. At their head rode a woman astride a black horse. Her posture straight as a spear, eyes sharp as flint. She dismounted before him, gaze dropping to the child, then lifting to Eli. The air grew heavy. This was no ordinary woman. This was Nantala, a widow of war, a promise-keeper feared even among her own people. "You fed my daughter," she said at last, voice low and measured. "Why?" Eli swallowed. "Because she was hungry." The woman studied him like prey that did not yet know its fate. The girl clung to Eli's coat, and that single gesture sealed what bloodshed could not undo. Nantala stepped forward. "A life for a life," she said. "You saved hers. Now, you belong to me." The riders did not draw weapons. They took Eli's horse, his gun, his choices. He was not tied, not beaten. That frightened him more than chains. As they rode into the red horizon, Eli realized the desert had not spared him. It had claimed him. Before the fire that night, Nantala spoke of debts older than gold, of promises that bound stronger than rope. Eli listened, knowing his old life had ended the moment he chose to kneel beside a dying child. Above them, the stars watched silently, as they always had when men crossed lines that could never be uncrossed. And far away, unseen eyes were already tracking them. Eli Mercer did not become Apache by blood, but by fire, hunger, and loyalty tested to breaking. The tribe did not welcome him. They endured him. He learned quickly that survival meant listening more than speaking. Nantala kept her word. He was fed, sheltered, and watched. Always watched. Some wanted him dead. Others wanted him gone. But Nantala's promise stood between him and the knife. Weeks passed. Then months. Eli learned to hunt without sound, to ride without reins, to read the desert like scripture. The child he saved, Ayanna, followed him everywhere. Laughing now, alive because of a single moment of mercy. That laughter changed things. Even warriors who hated him could not deny the child's life. But the past does not forget. The men who burned Eli's ranch, the same men who slaughtered Apache villages under a false flag of law, were coming. A bounty hunter posse, led by Captain Harlan Crow, a man who believed savagery wore only one face. Crow wanted Apache scalps and the white man rumored to be living among them. Eli's name was on that list. When Crow attacked at dawn, fire returned to the desert. Bullets tore through canvas. Horses screamed. Children ran. Eli fought not for survival but for belonging. He stood beside Nantala, back to back, smoke and blood between them. In that moment, the promise became mutual. Not debt, not ownership, family. The battle was brutal. Crow died by Nantala's blade. The rest fled into legend and shame. When the dust settled, the tribe stood wounded, but unbroken. That night, Nantala spoke before the elders. "This man was claimed by promise," she said. "He stayed by choice." She turned to Eli. "You were lost once. Now you are found." not as a captive, as one of us. Eli knelt, not in submission, but in gratitude. The desert wind carried away his old name. He rose with a new one. And the story did not end there, because some promises echo through generations, and some stories are meant to be told. The desert remembers every footstep, even after the wind pretends to erase them. Long after Captain Crow's body cooled beneath the vultures, his shadow still moved across the land, carried by men who believed hatred was a kind of law. Eli Mercer felt it before anyone spoke of it, the way the night grew tighter, the way the dogs whined without reason, the way Nantela's eyes lingered on the horizon as if listening, to voices only she could hear. Victory had not brought peace. It had merely announced their location to a world that did not forgive. Apache survival, nor a white man who chose to stand among them. Winter crept in thin and sharp. Food grew scarce. Eli rode farther with the hunters, learned to track the subtle signs of antelope and the dangerous silence that meant soldiers. He had scars now, earned, not given, and the tribe began to look at him differently. Not as a debt, not as a guest. As a man who bled when they bled. Ayanna slept easier when he was near. She called him Two Paths because he walked between worlds without breaking either. That name spread, and with it a fragile acceptance. Then the warning came. A runner collapsed near the fires at dusk, breath ragged, eyes wild, blue coats, a column moving fast. Not scouts, an extermination patrol. Someone had talked. Someone had put a price on Nantela's head and a larger one on the white man who had become Apache, the elders argued. Some demanded flight. Others demanded surrender of Eli to spare the children. The old wound opened, sharp and ugly. Nantela rose, her voice cutting through the noise like a blade through cloth. "Promises do not bend," she said. "They either hold or they break the world." She turned to Eli. "If you leave, they will hunt us anyway. If you stay, they will try to kill us for it. Choose." Eli did not hesitate. He stepped forward and laid his rifle at Nantela's feet, not in surrender, but in vow. "I stay," he said, "and I'll stand where you stand." The patrol attacked before dawn. Cannons thundered against the hills. Fire bloomed. Eli fought with the calm of a man who had already died once and refused to do it again. He carried children through smoke, dragged wounded warriors to cover, and held a ravine with 3 others while the tribe evacuated. When his ammunition ran dry, he fought with a knife and the weight of every choice that led him here. They were outnumbered, outgunned. Still, they did not break. At the river bend, Nantela made her stand. She sang, not loudly, but with a steady cadence that anchored the fighters to the earth beneath their feet. The soldiers faltered, confused by resistance that refused to look afraid. Eli saw his chance and took it, leading a countercharge that shattered the patrol's line and sent them fleeing, wounded and terrified, back toward their own lies. Silence fell like snow. The cost was heavy. Graves were dug. Names were spoken. Tears fell without shame. That night, Nantela placed a hand on Eli's shoulder before the tribe. "The promise is fulfilled," she said. "Not because he fed my daughter. Because he fed our future." Eli did not sleep. He watched the stars and understood the truth the desert had taught him at last. Belonging is not given. It is defended again and again until the land itself accepts your name. And somewhere beyond the horizon, the world was already changing.